What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another podcast. Today we got the boy Nate Belmar.
It's good to be back.
Back for part two.
Back for part two, but not Spain, Miami.
Correct. Miami edition. As we can see on the back skyline here on the TV.
Very
We're going to go over a lot of topics today regarding health, fitness, esoteric beliefs, and going down the rabbit hole in certain conversations. But for anybody somehow that doesn't know who you are, Nate, do a quick intro of what you're working on right now and everything about that.
So a little bit about me. My name is Mr. Belmar, or Nate Belmar. I'm just a traveler that has a very cool ecosystem for other travelers that want to get basically shredded and level up.
Okay.
Now, we all do this in a holistic manner. Like, I'm not about bastardizing the body in order to achieve a certain aesthetic look.
Like pinning
steroids, all that kind of stuff, 100%.
Okay. One of the first things I wanted to jump into was some hot topic a few months ago, 8 weeks ago, give or take. The expose of, Nate was never fat, Nate was never unhealthy. So I don't even want to jump into all the nitty-gritty details of that.
Yeah.
Because you've already proven before online.
Yeah.
You've had before and after videos.
Yeah.
What I want to jump into is what inspired you and motivated you to go from that current state or old state of yourself to now being where you're at, fit, traveling with six-pack abs, and being in shape.
Okay, so first of all, let's address the material vessel, having a six-pack, having an eight-pack, breaking necks. It's pretty cool. It's dope, but it's not going to fulfill you. Like, we have to be straight up with people, like candid, right? Like, you getting a six-pack's not going to change certain problems. Now, you're going to live optimally and you're going to become a better version of yourself, in your baseline in terms of your health and wellness is going to be amplified. So it's a good pursuit. The issue is why you're pursuing it. It's honestly, everything in hindsight kind of makes sense, but it was definitely a journey. It was definitely tough, but it was the point where this was already past the point of like, okay, am I going to take my life or not? Am I going to, like, the reason I didn't post before and afters, and I've mentioned it multiple times, is because every time I do see this stuff, it just like reminds me of those times. So even, I never wanted to post my before. It's like, that's the truth. And the truth is, I had to post it because it was getting out of control in terms of like, people were DMing me like, bro, you're never out. And I'm like, what is going on, dude? So Victor, CEO of Anime Shreds, he's like, Nate, yeah, just post the befores. And the truth is, it's kind of funny because I got even more out of shape, and I have even more, but I just don't want to get into that. But the funny part is all the people that attended the first Capital Club event in Tulum, like, it was probably 20, 30 guys. They all saw me and I was out of shape. Like, I was in the best shape. And then I went into all my downfall after that. Okay. So people saw the baseline, and the baseline wasn't that best. So like, all you have to do is just look at images, photos. And the truth is, like, people just hop on whatever the trend is or the topic is. So if people are talking about my befores and after, good. Like, I mean, you probably have better things to do, but you can't also hide. The truth has to be revealed. So you kind of have to expose it. And first I started with the community. I'm like, hey guys, I know like a lot of things are going on online. I just want to say, like, I don't want to post my before and after, but I will. And it has nothing to do with me showing vulnerability with having a bad physique, because I openly talked about it. It just has to do because I just didn't feel like do it. Like, you don't have, like, by which means and who has the authority and power over you to tell you, oh, you have to put your before and after to, why? Like, if I want to, it's because I want to. And I was kind of forced to do it, and I did it, and it's fine. But the truth is, I was happy to do it because there were a lot of people that did believe that he's like, okay, he went through all this. It wasn't all made up or whatever. He went through all this journey. I can do it too. So for the people that did believe, thank you. I appreciate it. You're awesome. And for the people that didn't believe, it's okay. You're just a bot that follows the crowd. That's the truth. And honestly, it's just ironic. I look at the whole, it's basically like a comedy show. That being said, for what was the turning point, I remember I was actually in Puerto Rico. This was after the whole episode. This was after me meeting up with Luke after the whole episode. Months later, we met up in Brazil. Then we went to Croatia together. And by then, I wasn't super duper fat or out of shape, but I wasn't healthy. And I had love handles and everything. And I remember he's like, yo, you want to come to Puerto Rico? I've got an extra house. You can stay and hang out. And I was like living in Florida, traveling around, having a good time. Like, you know what? I'm going to like lock in, get in there. And I remember I was at the pool, bro. And I was just like having another train of thought that was negative that reminded me of the year I completely lost before, which was like year of like waking up at 3 p.m., 4 p.m., like not going like, not turning on the light, getting on the shower all like dark. It's just a very negative environment, right? And when you catch that, I'm like, bro, I literally took me a couple months just to reach base level noob, not even like suicidal, like noob, right? So I'm like, I need to go full mode. And I'm like, I know all the stuff I need to do. Like one thing is to know it, understand, another thing is to go full throttle. So I remember I was in the pool, like looking in the water. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go like full. I call it like Dojo, man. I'm like, I'm gonna go all in, bro. Like I'm doing it, and I did it, bro. It's like 4 or 5 a.m. Wake up, boom, 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 energetic. But the why was so strong and that's why I tell people, start with your why. Start with your why. Start with your why. Like, what is your why? It's not cheesy because why is what's going to kindle that fire when discipline's not there.
Very true.
And most people lack discipline.
Correct.
So get a good why to at least mitigate that.
I think the stronger the pain, the less you have to be disciplined, because the pain's going to force you to change. Because if you wake up every morning, or in this case every afternoon, and you're in so much pain, you just hate your life.
Afternoon on a good day, sometimes like 3 or 4 p.m. Or like, but I'm not lying. Sometimes it got so bad where you do like multi-day sleeps where you almost go crazy. If you're in a dark room and everything, because you don't understand day from night or night from day, it becomes like an insomnia of just pure darkness, right? So if you don't get out of that, bro, like it's only going to amplify over long periods of time. And that's a realization I had. Like I have so much pain, so much inflammation. I walk and I feel so much pain. Like me doing this was impossible, right? I was like, it hurts now. By the time I'm in my late 30s, in my 40s, in my 50s, it's only gonna be amplified. And only my thoughts are gonna get more and more and more and more ingrained. It's only gonna get worse. So it's like, A, take my life now. B, coast and be a total noob. It's gonna get progressively worse and then like take action. Or, dude, snap out of it and get back to it.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, bro, this sucks. It sucks. And then a whole year went by. And I was like, shit, a whole year went by. Whole year of just doing the same thing over and over and over again, of like waking up super late, not being motivated, right? And the issue is that's downward momentum. To break out of downward momentum is so hard than breaking from a plateau or a flat line or you living normal. Like baseline is so low that there has to be a shift, bro. You have to be like, enough is enough. Like, and it doesn't mean you won't fall, you won't fail, but it means that you're sick of it and you want to change. And I tell people, like, go dojo mode, like, go full throttle. That doesn't mean like obsessed with fitness. Like, I'll tell you certain protocols that you can do that are beneficial, but like, go for it. Why? Because when you decide to coast, your baseline is so much higher that you can afford to coast for a while. If you're here, you can't afford to coast, especially if you haven't built the metabolic machinery, like the skeletal muscle at an old age, like functional movements, basic strength, leg strength, back strength, a lot of functions that you can build in your 20s and 30s that by the time you're 40, 50, you only have to maintain, right? But look at your grandparents, look at your parents, look at, like, where are they at, right? And not only in terms of their genetics, but epigenetics, like what's their surrounding, right? Because you have a pretty decent blueprint as to what your life is going to look like.
For sure.
And I totally ranted there, but that was just my train of thought on that.
No, that was good. You went into detail with what you wanted to kind of just lay out.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you've talked about it online.
The issues I don't like doing podcasts.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, yeah.
So that's why I wanted to start with that, because it's something that many people, including myself, have thought about. I'm like, I wonder what that piece was to really get him out of that rut to get where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, coupling onto that and tying into this is the idea of fasting, right? On our first little sit down, we talked about fasting and the benefits of it.
Yeah.
How did you originally come across fasting and realize the true power of it?
I think it was first like trying to intermittent fast. Like I came across like the notion of intermittent fasting, or like trying to reduce the so-called most essential meal of the day, breakfast, right? And try to postpone it. And I remember, bro, I couldn't go till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock because I was starving. Like I had to eat cereal. I had to eat my gains, right? My carbohydrates. The issue became my paradigm wasn't shattered. I had a paradigm that I could only get an elite vessel if I spent tons of time working out, tons of time doing chronic cardio, tons of meals throughout the day, right? Like once my paradigm was shifted, there was a period of time where things were shaking in terms of belief systems and everything. But when you actually become comfortable with being uncomfortable, you can actually sit there in the silence by yourself. After a long period of time, if you actually dedicate yourself, you can reach a certain level of peace and serenity that you can actually make rational decisions.
True. Because when you're in that state of faltered beliefs or uncertain beliefs, you're not going to even trust your own judgment. right? So you kind of need to go through that little divot and period of where you don't even know what's going on, like internally sometimes, to come out on the other side and say, hey, this belief is not serving me. I need to have this belief shattered in this case to level up essentially and have a belief that's going to actually help you.
Well, it's one of those moments where it's like you either level up or live in delusion or like lie to yourself. But once a paradigm is shifted, like that's why either people go crazy or people, and that was the paradigm with fitness. There's multiple paradigms that can be shifted. Fitness is just one aspect.
What was the paradigm for you that shifted for fitness?
So many things, like not being dependent on carbohydrates as the main source of energy, cycling carbohydrates, understanding that you can go through long periods of fasting and autophagy, learning that it's all about understanding what's intuitive and good for you, right? Like I told everybody I launched Anime Shreds in May. I haven't worked out since. You know, I'm always like split testing everything. That doesn't mean I was lazy. I've been like walking, fasting, stretching, but I'd put so much mass, so much stress, so much fat on the body that I needed a break. I was like full bear mode in the mountains, like training, weights and everything. I got almost to 220 pounds, was heavy, but I was sleeping 12 hours, 13, I was like tired. But that's what I needed for the goal, which was the bulk. Then I started fasting, bro. Light, now I'm only sleeping 3, 4, 5 hours, feeling good, sometimes a little bit tired.
Holy
Sometimes,
shit.
yeah, dude. But I'm also, if I was putting that stress, right, on the body with hypertrophy training, with all this and that, I would have to eat more. I would be more tired, so I'd have to do more. So it's all like, and it's all about testing.
Yeah.
My test was how much muscle can I maintain because I'm metabolically flexible, because I know how to fast, because I know how to create movement, because I know how to do calorie deficit and not have to work out and prompt my body to tap into fat as the energy I need to work throughout the day. How do I know I'm tapping into fat? Because I'm ecstatic. I'm like working there, buzz, because my brain's operating off of ketones. If it wasn't, I'd be like, where's food? Give me the sugar.
I want to go into that too even more in detail, which is the part of fasting where like you realize, oh, this is actually beneficial.
Yeah.
But also to the point, let's skip that and go on to the more important piece, I believe, which is your importance and stress on stretching and being flexible. Yeah. This is so different from many other guys in the fitness space, right? Everyone's like, bro, get as big as you can, fucking curl some thick ass Latinas on a bench press or bench some hot girls or some shit like Bradley Martin.
Yeah, it's the gym bro mentality, looking super bulked and big.
Yeah.
And your identity of macho being attached to a silhouette or an aesthetic. I think it's cool. I think skeletal muscle is an intrinsic tool that people need to adopt. And I feel like a gym bro is more convenient than somebody who's lazy and sedentary and all this and that. Is it fully optimized? No, but it's definitely a step up. So people that go to the gym, work out, even if it's not for the best reasons, like still my hat's off to them because they're at least doing something.
For sure.
But I don't feel like it's still the most optimal in a lot of ways. And stretching is one facet. And the beauty of stretching is once you reduce inflammation, you can actually stretch easier and it doesn't hurt as much. You're actually more limber. When you move more, when you shift positions, when you squat, when you stand up, when you hang, when you stretch, you just decompress. You're naturally, like I don't stretch that much now, right? Because people think metabolic flexibility, maintain muscle, yeah, but flexibility, it's a lot easier to maintain flexibility once you've reached there and you live a certain life and you're not stretching all the time and you're still flexible. Now, if you actually keep stretching, more stretching, I think there's a point where people overdo it with the stretching and they almost like, and it's cool, but it's kind of like, it's like, what's the least amount of effort I can put into and get the most results?
Leverage.
It's all about leverage. And then if you like it, then go more, do it more, even if there's no more leverage because you like it, but not because you're addicted. Because like what I'm all about is like, you can't plan a vacation because there are no gyms around and you can't work out. It's a true thing, bro.
I know. That's why.
Like, it's a true thing. Like, what? It's a vacation. Like, work out in your room, get some bands, get some body weight, go to a beach gym where there's just a pull-up bar and a dip.
Yeah, my hips are cooked. Like, I can't really open my hips. My girlfriend got me more into stretching recently because she can fold up like crazy doing yoga and shit.
Yeah.
Like, she started last December, not very flexible now. The before and after pictures are crazy. So that's kind of honestly inspired me to get more into stretching and all that stuff. And that leads me to asking you, at what point along your journey did you instill that new belief that I need to implement stretching into my fitness routine?
Well, it was the realization that your body actually hurts and your body's not actually optimal and it's not going through full ranges of motion without pain because you've prompted it to do that way. Your sedentary lifestyle, you're pushing all the time, right? You hunching over, you sitting on the wrong position for long periods of time. All these things compound. And all you have to do is look at our forefathers, look at even natives in Africa or in these countries where they practice feasting and fasting, going hunting and everything. Guys have an 8-pack, 6-pack, and they didn't work out. Right now, if you start working out, you can add density, volume. You can and that's epic, right? That's cool. And there's a beauty and alchemy to transforming your body. I don't think it should become your God and you should worship it. You should pursue it and pursue the pump. And
pursue the pump.
Pursue the pump,
That's
guys.
funny.
Pursue the pump. Like, it's the thing, bro. Like, you enjoy it. You get your, that
was funny.
All I'm trying to say is don't become addicted to, being obsessed with bulking. Like, it's good to bulk, but if you can't scratch your back or pop a pimple in your back or squat down at 60 to pick up your grandchild, is that really conducive to health and fitness, or is that just pursuing a big body composition?
Yeah, Ronnie Coleman's pissed right now.
But truth be told, I don't even know if it was all of that training. I think it was more of a surgery and a mistake and a pinch that fucked it up. That's just my humble opinion. And I'm saying it from personal experience, from malpractice. I've seen people, bro, little pinch, all their leg goes completely limp. So I feel like there was a tweak there that kind of ruined it. Of course, that training is not conducive over long periods of time, especially in your 40s and 50s, and especially if you have a highly inflammatory diet. Now, for people asking me, do I feel like his diet was good? No, because he was eating way too much, in my opinion.
Like what, specifically?
Like how many meals he was eating in a day. And force feeding, not enjoying your feasting. That's the whole thing with feasting and fasting is enjoying the food, right? But it's good because he needed all that to build the physique he needed to the goal at task, which was
Mr. Olympia.
Correct.
Yeah.
To be Mr. Olympia, you have to do Mr. Olympia things. You have to so he did what he had to do. Now, is it conducive to the modern person? No. Is it a good blueprint for bodybuilders? Maybe there's some blueprint. So it's up to each individual. For me, it's kind of pursue fitness, pursue shreds, pursue aesthetics. Cool. Do it, first of all, in a holistic manner. And then don't always listen to what everybody has to say, bro. My whole thing has always been not be against what everybody says, but take everything with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you listen to different opinions, you get different advice, and you resonate with what you like and what you believe is true in your mind through your experiences and your beliefs. So on top of the fasting, on top of the stretching, you travel a lot, right? You were just in Vegas recently for the school games.
Yeah.
So when you're traveling this often, how are you staying shredded? How are you staying in shape? You said you're not even lifting yet.
I haven't done push-ups, I haven't done sit-ups, nothing.
Okay, how?
Wait, it's what I'm telling you. I'm literally telling you guys, because what I've done is you build, right, the muscle. You become metabolically flexible, so you become better at sparing muscle in your body, not tapping into that. You have tons of fat, because I had 15, 18, maybe 20% fat in body composition because I hit 220. And then I use that to basically so I would do multi-day fast, bro, and I'd be fantastic, be feeling great. So I'm basically toning down, so you're looking better, but all you're doing is really cutting fat. And then over a month and a half, you start losing muscle mass.
Okay, so what you did then, this is my monkey brain for bodybuilding, breaking it down.
Okay.
That's why I had to ask you. I was like, wait a second here.
Yeah.
Basically, you just bulked up, and you're like, all right, I'm going to cut now.
Well, I bulked. It's all about seasons, right? So I bulked up. I was in the winter. I was eating heavy, sleeping a lot, building out tons of things.
Fucking grizzly.
100%, dude. But tell me, that's what I needed to put on the mass that I needed. Now, what was I doing after? Working a lot. So I'm like, what, am I gonna go kill myself and work out? No, I need to expedite energy. So everything I did was conducive to the goal. And the goal was, hey, Nate, give your body a break because you fried it, basically with all the lifting and the eating, all that, you're sleeping a lot. Take a break. Because what people don't understand is the beauty of body recomp. Now you start introducing carbohydrates, start reintroducing creatine, HM, all these things, bro, and you're like that, bro. It just takes 2-3 weeks. Now I'm alkalinizing the body, I'm stretching. And I've done, no, it's not that I haven't worked out since now. I started working out a couple days ago. I'll do a full body workout. Then I'll rest a couple days, do another full body workout. And I've done a few recomp, but I went a couple months in it and I needed it, bro. And I felt it. Now I'm feeling good, bro. And I'm introducing carbohydrates. And I'm doing it in a way where it's targeted for the clean bulk. And the clean bulk is only possible, in my opinion, if you become metabolically flexible, because all you have to do is withdraw caloric surplus, but your body's still tapping into fat. So when it no longer has a substrate of energy that you've inputted, it taps into the energy that's conveniently placed around your waist like a bipedal creature, which is fat. The problem is most people can't tap into that because they're always eating carbs. So the brain is dependent on carbs. Then you don't give it carbs, it starts freaking out. You start tapping into glycogen, which is basically the glucose stored in your muscle. And that's why people say, oh, self-cannibalize, eat 3 times a day. Because you're not metabolically flexible, dog.
Dude, the last time we filmed last year, I remember you said it was July, middle of July when we filmed. And you were like, bro, I haven't lifted since February.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck. But I never heard of that before.
Because people can't do that, bro. People can't take time off the...
That's what I mean. It's different. Like, I don't know many other people that can do that.
But I was also walking tons, stretching. I wasn't like living sedentary as well.
What is your average, you think, daily walking steps?
I don't count my steps or anything.
No?
Dude, I'm like anti-numbers.
You just be out here.
Like no Oura ring, nah, bro. It's just like, yeah, dude.
Oura ring's kind of gay. I know my guys out here watching.
Quantum number.
Some of our friends.
Well, the issue is, and we were talking, I discussed this with Sean today, is becoming obsessed with numbers, right? Like you feel like you got good rest, but then checking in your Oura ring says you didn't. So you get the placebo effect. No, I didn't get Susan. I mean, you start, you can go that rabbit hole real quick. Yeah. So that's my whole thing. Like, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. And I just don't want like EMF radiating, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
too much stuff.
It's just too much going on.
You even got up and put your phone over there.
Yeah, I don't have my phone on me.
I got mine right by my nuts, so
and
I'm
also,
getting radiated.
Also wearing EMF boxers.
That's a thing?
Yeah, dude. Silver lining, 100%.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know
guys.
that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, then carrying on this conversation, I like the way it's flowing then. Okay, so in the beginning, for somebody just getting into fitness now, right? They're coming across your content. Maybe they're watching people like David Lade or some influencer in the fitness space. Where do you believe most people are going wrong in fitness and dieting in the beginning of their stages?
So first of all, let me address the fitness industry is completely botted. Like 100% botted. Think about it.
Break it down.
I'll break it down. You go to a gym at the same time that most people go to the gym after your job. So it's clustered with people, tons of energy in there. But that's not the issue. The issue is you're under fluorescent lights, Bluetooth. You're radiating AirPod. You have everybody blinging with their phones pinging, like just you're staring at yourself in the mirror. You have tons of chicks that are there, and you're either lifting for them or ego lifting with another guy. Like it's just like the whole environment is just like, right? So that's why you start seeing people that they start doing their private gyms. They start doing their. So my whole take, like if I had to tell somebody, hey, you're completely new, be like, get in tune with your body. Train with your body, train with bands at home, feel comfortable. And once you have a decent foundation, 2-3 months, you understand, then go to the gym when you're more confident. If you're in there, you're not confident, you know what you're doing, and you see somebody lifting and you want to ego lift, bro, people can go down that rabbit hole real quick. So that's why I'm saying botted. And that's just one facet. There's so many, bro.
Okay.
There's so many, like what they drink, how they drink, when they eat their food, they microwave. There's so many.
This is what I mean. Yeah. So I wanted to touch on the fitness side, which you covered.
Yeah.
But now dieting, we hear so much information online from so many different sources, like, oh, do this. Oh, wait, don't do intermittent fasting. All these different things, right? And your perspective, where do people go wrong the most when it comes to their first dieting plan, getting into the gym?
People don't know themselves. They're not intuitive with their body. So they listen to people based on what their opinion and their journey was, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, bro, I got a massive chest because I was lifting 4 or 5 reps okay, I'm gonna do 4 or 5 reps. And bro, your shoulders are not ready. You
get hurt.
People don't sit down and think and like, okay, I'm always tell people is like, just use your brain. What is everybody doing? And then look at their results. Like, how long did it take you to transform and get your body, right? Perfect. Is that what I want? Yes or no? Is it the most optimal? No. Is there a few things I can learn from him? Yes, perfect. Learn what you can. What I tell everybody is you can learn from everybody, the good and the bad. You just have to have the eyes to see and the brain to hopefully interpret the information, right? And it affect you in a positive manner. Now, I can tell you, just even like basic things, and I'm not going to cover it because I covered it in Sean's podcast, but like most of fitness training is all pushing, not pulling, right? And that's with our sedentary lifestyle, everything's forward. So it's kind of like you have to counteract problems, just like stretching and hanging from the bar to decompress the spine, same exact thing. And I feel like over time, the whole like weightlifting, everything, you're like shrinking the body, right? It's all hypertrophy,
like
you need to, decompress, bro. And people don't like, no, bro, my chest is not big enough. I can't stretch. I need to go do chest. Okay? The problem is, first of all, you don't understand how to train, how to put yourself in a certain state, how to train till failure, how to recoup and alkalinize the body so then you don't feel as much hurt because you're in an acidic state. There's so many things that can be productive that when you do train chest, you maximize it. And then you can move on to the next thing, which is like stretching or like hitting another part. But what's been a huge hack has been flowing, bro. Flowing in the training sessions.
Flowing. What does that mean?
Flowing means like you make the most out of your training session. So what I see a lot of people do is they'll go to the gym, right? So they're sleeping in their bed, they get up, they go sit down in their car, they drive to work, they sit down at work, all in a sedentary manner. And then they go to the gym, sit down, and then they sit down and they do shoulder press, or they sit down or lay and do bench press, right? So they're not creating any motion of the true human potential in terms of the full potential expression of the human body, which is to be able to move in circular motions, right? The issue is everything's very sedentary, very pushing, and the sedentary lifestyle doesn't aid in you trying to build big muscles and hypertrophy when you're compromising all the small muscles, all the tendons, all the ligaments, right? That you haven't trained at all. And that's why people get injured. People don't understand how to start with a foundation. And it's good that people are like trying to work out and are trying to build the body. But I feel like there's a lot of paradigms that have to be shifted in terms of optimization. Because if somebody's getting shredded in a couple months, 7-8 months, and somebody took them 3 years, like, who are you gonna listen to, dog? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very important piece when it comes to every aspect of life, fitness, business, whatever it may be, right? I believe that many people out here that are trying to make something of themselves are filled and tainted with incorrect beliefs and incorrect realities. And when they try and apply those incorrect realities to themselves, they're gonna keep spinning their wheels and perhaps taking 3 years on something when it can take them 6 to 12 months on something.
Yeah.
So for the person out here listening right now, whether it is fitness, business, wherever you want to apply it, right? Because I believe it's a universal principle. The consumption of content and the consumption of proper information, right? How often are you learning new information and actually weaving and like cutting out all the nonsense and internalizing good information to apply to your life?
That's great. So it really depends on like what my goals are and what I'm trying to learn. So let's say I'm trying to learn something with like expansion of telomeres or how to lengthen the telomeres. I'll start like researching.
What is that?
I'm not going to get into it. That's a longer topic.
Telomeres?
Yeah, everything, your correlation of your lifespan is correlated with the length of your telomeres. So you can tap into like bioregulars and everything to extend it, but that's a whole different podcast. But okay, let's talk about something else like creatine, something more, creatine, protein powder.
Nobody knows what telomeres is.
Yeah, dude, a lot of people knows what telomeres.
I've never heard of that in my
really?
life.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just brain dead.
No. It's more like the health and wellness space. Like if you're in that, like telomeres is pretty.
You think Derek from More Place More Days knows who that is or what that is?
Maybe. Probably. He seems knowledgeable.
He got boulder shoulders.
What does that have to do with telomeres? He does have boulder shoulders though. He kind of looks like what's the character in Smash? Samus Prime.
Yeah, he does.
Samus Prime.
All right, we went off topic there. I know.
No. So
creatine.
No, not creatine. What you're saying is going on rabbit trails. Like I love going on rabbit trails. Like going on PubMed, going on research, like seeing if the person ever published a book. Because the truth is, people expand on other people's work. Like Bruce Lee expanded a lot of Miyamoto Musashi. Certain doctors expand on other doctors' work. So if you can see like what like if you tell me, hey Nate, what are great books you should read? Fat Chance, fantastic book. It will give you an idea of more or less the American paradigm and potentially global paradigm in terms of sugar and its intoxication for the body. There's a lot of decent books. So it's kind of like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to learn how to get flexible? Because the problem is when you don't know what you want and you just start finding, so okay, you want to do fitness, perfect. What aspect of fitness? Is it flexibility? Is it strength? Is it longevity? Is it diet? Is it cleanses?
Yeah.
So I like selecting one segment and going into that for a while, and then going to different segment because it almost feels like you're reading books. Like you're reading this book and you're learning. But I'll tell you, like one of the biggest epiphanies I had was the shredder gourd, bro.
The what?
The shredder gourd, like the gourd. So in Argentina, they have a gourd. Basically, I believe it's from Turkey originally, but it's a gourd. And it has a pipe, and you'll see all the Argentine people and Paraguayans and Uruguayans drink out of it, right? And it's basically a gourd with a pipe and there's a straw and it filters the straw. But they drink mate, right? And mate is a very typical drink. The issue with mate is, first of all, it's how they make mate. Most of it's smoked. Then it's all the fillers and all that. And it's super toxic. It's terrible. Now, there's a great mate, but like everything, there's good and there's bad.
Of course.
So my epiphany was, I was looking at the gourd, I'm like, dude, why would I drink nanoplastic teas, right? They're absolutely destroying you. Why don't I just adopt like the loose leaf property of the teas, roots, herbs, and start studying all the properties of all of them and start like making my own potion. And that's where I got into it. But it's all sandbox, it's all like curiosity, but you can't do that if you're like, oh, what does everybody say? Like, no, dude.
I actually was going to cover that at one point. I wanted to ask you, like, how did you come up with this branding idea of potions and making your own potions?
It's not branding, it's literally potions. Like, what is a potion? It's like concoction of things, and there's different potions. Like, you have the potions in terms of cold potions in terms of like tinctures and alcohol, like combining ACV. Like, for example, my apple cider vinegar, dude, it's not apple cider vinegar, it's apple cider vinegar. There's tons of herbs and they're collecting for 9 months, 8 months, and it just looks like a gnarly potion. And basically what I'm doing is through tinctures, it has some alcohol that extracts all the properties. So potions can manifest themselves in a plethora of ways. I just look at potion as like an alchemical process of combining different things intentionally for a specific design, whether it's like, am I trying to sleep? Am I trying to relax? Am I trying to be hyper-focused, right? And you start learning different things and then put it together. Like, I remember I've done so many bad ones where like you put too much lavender and it overpowers and you're like bitter, or you put devil's claw, which is fantastic, but you put that just a little bit into any potion and it tastes so strong and so hard. So it's just things you go learning along the way. But the whole idea was like, how can I extrapolate in a fasted state? Because you might be getting some, but like, how can I absorb everything from, like, everybody should be drinking nettle leaf, in my opinion, organic nettle leaf. High levels of silica, which everybody needs, high levels of magnesium, calcium, super inexpensive.
Good stuff,
yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna be in a fasted state and I'm gonna absorb all of this. And that's where it all started, bro. And the sandbox is like, learning about this and learning about that, and yeah.
Okay.
Now, anime shreds, it came because I love anime, bro. I love anime, and I was like, it's almost like you're not pursuing bulk or mass, you're kind of pursuing just a holistic life. And you see like anime characters tend to be like super lean, shredded, mobile. So I'm like, that's what I like, bro. Like, and you can achieve it in a holistic manner and it's not super high maintenance. Like, yeah, if you want to go full dojo mode and go from one area to another, but when you get there, bro, like I told you, 2 months.
You can plateau and kind of coast a little bit.
For a while. Now, that doesn't mean coast long term, but that's like anything. But that doesn't mean you're a dojo bro and you go to the gym in 2 weeks, you don't work out and you lost your pump. No wonder you don't want to go on vacation.
Gotta find the gym nearby.
Yeah, dude. It's like, bro, after 3 days, I lose my chest.
Dude, I gotta get a pump right now, guys. Give me 5 minutes.
It's like, let me do some push-ups before the shoot.
That was a good point too on, you know, why you even started anime shreds and stuff like this. And I want to get into that, but before I do, there's a lot of pieces to the overarching niche of biohacking, right?
Yeah.
So for somebody watching right now, what do you think is something they can take away as an actionable step and do right after this video to improve their health, improve their fitness, whatever it may be?
Yeah. Oxygenation, grounding, healthy water, healthy relationships, create a lot of movement. Make sure you cleanse the body so you can get some sun and not react counterintuitively to it. Tap into everything that you can tap into that's free, that's good and beneficial for you, and then start working your way up. It's almost like in a game where you start collecting different things and you start ranking up.
New XP.
Bro, you have no idea how much money I spend on stuff, bro. Like quantum, like crazy stuff. Everybody's like, what? But the people that know. And they're like, dude, yeah, no, it works.
What are your thoughts on sunscreen?
It's so botted. So you have natural sunscreen in terms of healthy ingredients that you can create that are good. But conventional sunscreen is like, yes, let me get sun poison, which I have gotten sun poison. The doctor told me never to go in the sun. So I was in South Korea. I remember I was like laying down. I was there up close to the volcano. I was just like laying down on the ground. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get some sun today. I'm gonna get shredded, get red, get tan. I was laid there for an hour and a half, passed out. I woke up and ants were eating me. And people that know Jeju ants, Jeju bugs, Jeju Island's basically like the Hawaii of Korea.
Okay.
Jeju Island, bro, like they've got big bugs. Like an ant's like this, they got ants like this. And a pear's like this, they got pears like this. Like, and they started biting me like, fuck. And I'm like, I want to get sun. And I killed one and then they all started attacking me like 15 minutes later. So I'm like, I gotta get out. I got back. I'm like looking at myself in the mirror, checking myself. I'm like, oh, dude, I look good, red. I'm like more lean, like I lost water weight. The next day, bro, I got sun poisoned. And it was all the chemicals I put on my skin. So my right side was completely caved in. The right side was puffed up. My chest was completely sucked in. The other one was puffed up. I couldn't move, and they sent me to the hospital. And the doctor told me, like, what are you doing? You idiot, you shouldn't be in the sun. You got sun poison, it can kill you. So I'm freaking out with the sun, like, and I had sun exposure for years after that because I was like super traumatized.
I mean, understandably, you're all contorted, it sounds
yeah,
like.
no, I was there for like, I remember my roommate, he was Japanese. Because I was like laying in bed, just sunburned, having a terrible time, putting like aloe, and you just walk by me, look at me, he's like, kawaiso, which means poor guy. Because I was just there like wrecked, bro.
Yeah, you're just fucking down
Yeah,
bad.
dude. So it's kind of like those paradigms have to be shifted, right? Because then you're like, what? I'm now preaching, oh, go work out in the sun. You know what I'm saying?
It's like balance.
I don't know, bro. I just know a lot of people are bought it, and they have the pedigree or the degree of being a doctor. And if I would have been pragmatic and not actually thought about it, I could have gone my whole life fearing the sun. Like, that's valid. I did it for a couple of years.
A few years is a long time for
Yes,
that.
sir.
Okay.
But yes, it's botted.
It's
And a lot of them are getting sued.
sued from sunscreen companies?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I think I saw something online before, very recently or somewhat recently for the most part, where, and we maybe have talked about it as well, you believe that running is not good compared to walking.
Yeah.
Why is that?
So it's multiple reasons, right? The human expression and its fullest potential is built for walking. Now you can run. It's a possibility. Most people shouldn't run, and I can tell you multiple reasons. First of all, the connection between their brain and the bottom of their feet is not there because they walk on soft shoes. They're not walking on flat earth. So you have to understand, like, every time you come in contact with the floor, you're sending receptors to the brain, and your body steps into different ways because you're calibrating. When you're in soft shoes, you don't feel that. That's one thing. Second thing, super highly inflammatory diet, right?
What is an inflammatory diet look like?
An inflammatory diet is like you associate your body with having some sort of chronic disease because it really hurts when all it is inflammation. And a lot of it has to do with highly processed, bastardized seed oils. And I'm saying from personal experience, I've cut seed oils out of my life for 2 years, 3 years. And if you told me I'd done splits, I would have like laughed in your face. But a lot of it was regardless of how much I stretched. If I'm still inflamed, you're inflamed, and stretching becomes like not even enjoyable. So it's reducing inflammation because you see it, bro. People are running and you see them in the face. They're like, and it's not even the pain of running because they're like their heart, everything hurts and you can see it. And then they're running in polyester clothing, like rubbing it on their skin. Yeah, like basically. So I believe this is gonna be one of the first generations that's gonna have eunuchs with testicles. Basically, chemical castration.
I mean, it seems like it's already heading that way.
It's already headed that way. Lower testosterone, lower sperm count, less infertility, yada, 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 yada. And then you have all the guys running, dun, 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 just do it.
Okay, this might be, we might go back and forth on this one then.
Okay,
a little mini debate here on the podcast.
Okay, go.
The talk and conversation about testosterone, right?
Yeah.
Now, we all know, we hear the same things about how to increase your test levels naturally, right?
Yeah.
But there are people out there that do everything right and they just can't seem to get their levels to higher natural levels, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk about the conversation of synthetic testosterone with you because I wanted to bring it up to you last time, but we ran out of time. Why are you against it, and why do you believe that injecting synthetic testosterone is not smart?
Okay, so first of all, it's the quality of the testosterone. Let's address that. I don't think you should do it at a younger age. I think in your 50s, 60s, 70s, when you've tried all resorts and everything, I think it's a conducive option. Just realize that when you start doing it, it's something that you're gonna have to keep doing. Like, it's one of those things. I personally feel like there's more reasons as to, it's not only hacks of how you boost your testosterone, it's your overall metabolic health. It's your regulations. How's your thyroid working? Is it operating properly, right? Your stress levels. Are you drinking enough healthy fats, lipids, right? Like all those things, it doesn't matter if you put ice in your balls, right? Those are, but it has to do with so much more. And hormone plays a huge role. Also, like estrogen's not bad, right? It's high levels of bad estrogen. Like estrogen, you need estrogen,
Correct.
right?
You do.
So my whole take is like, I think it's fine. I would tell people is like, look at all the conducive options, peptides, everything. There's a lot of things that you can do to boost your testosterone naturally. Try everything. And when you think you've tried everything, try a little more. Because everybody's like, bro, I tried everything. I asked him 2 questions. I'm like, bro, this guy hasn't tried anything. So people live in delusion. So once you try everything and you're older, 40, 50, do it. Just make sure it's high quality and make sure that you're going to be willing to do it. Because if you go off of it, you'll notice it.
For sure.
So I'm not against it. I'm just against it for like guys that are in their 20s and 30s and want to use it because they want to think that having extra tests is going to make them look more jacked. Totally different. What's the quality as well? But I feel like you're older and everything, you've tried everything, I think it's fine. But just make sure you realize that you are going to be using it like long term. Not every day, but like you're going to have to be applying it.
Yeah, every few days, give or take.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times
So
a
I'm
week.
not against it. I'm just kind of like against the option of taking the road of least resistance because you think it's going to be most optimal. And then you have to realize, oh, but they don't tell you that you have to keep doing it over. That's just my thing.
Yeah, you have to be aware of what you're signing up for.
Yeah, like just take everything and like sit down and like look at the options, like, and then look at everybody, like with the whole Ozempic thing. Like everybody tripping on Ozempic. Ozempic is so botted, bro. Like you could get the same GLP-1 from mate, from guayusa, from different teas, right? Maybe not as powerful, but you could maybe do it in a patch form, like crystallize it and then put it there, or do oral or do an injection. Because then guess what happens? Ozempic face. You see it. It's so obvious. So the blueprint's there. Do you want to take it? It's up to you. But like, if there's a blueprint for steroids long term, you see it. Are you going to take it? Perfect. But my issue becomes when you start propagating it as like, this is the best way.
Yeah, the only solution type thing, yeah.
Like, no, not really.
This is good. I want to transition now into anime shreds here.
Okay. Your
paid community and your free community.
Yeah.
I want to ask you the question here. We talked about it before on camera here, or off camera, I should say. The current state and future of digital communities and perhaps even personal branding. So do you believe in this day and age going forward that personal branding and a digital community is one of the best ways to grow a online business?
So let me ask you something. What is a business comprised of?
Well, it's comprised of attention.
People.
Well, I was going to say, yeah.
It's people, bro. It's all people. Everything's related to people. What people don't
people
understand.
are attention, though.
But correct. But it's not about attention. It's about relationships, bro. It's about connection. The problem is social media. This goes with the question you're saying. Instagram, YouTube, all this and that. It's all dopamine hits and hyper connection, hyper access to information, misinformation, propaganda, right? Without the true human connection. Like, go try to see a thread or something on Instagram, people connecting. It's not going to happen. Now, how school was designed intentionally was for communities. And when I spotted it, I realized that I'm like, I'm going to host a dojo here. I'm going to host anime shreds here. And my whole thing was just basically fostering and creating an environment for people. Because also what you do is basically you are the curator of the environment. So if there's toxic people, you have the ability and the responsibility to kick those people out. So you're fostering an environment for people. So people, you're not going on social media, you're going into this, whatever the system is. The problem is, just because the raw material and power is there, doesn't mean that people are just going to join a community. Like, people want to join there for value, people want to join there for relationships, people want to join there because there's something intrinsically special in that environment that can't be hosted anywhere else. And I feel like a personal brand, all it is eyeballs on you. It's exposure, it's what you were saying. But one thing is to have exposure and entertainment people, and everything is to develop like a real community with real people that have like-minded things. Like, it's so cool, dude. Like, it's so cool. Like, for example, Giancarlo, he's a cool guy. He got a crazy transformation in a couple weeks. I met with him in Orlando, and I met with him by chance because I recognized me. He's like, oh yeah, John. He's like, wait, he lives here? He's like, yeah. So I connected with him. He's like, bro, I connected X person, Y person through school. Thank you so much. So it's like creating that environment. Now, if you're in there, you're not creating the environment, then people are going to leave. Why would they stay in an environment that's toxic or not beneficial?
Yep.
But I agree with you in terms of, like, you know what the problem is? People look for shortcuts. People look for instant, what's the next shiny thing, right? What's the next, and now it's, bro, focus on people. And people do a great job with like packaged products, packaged good, packaged information, packaged courses. But one thing is a course, Another thing is a community, and another thing is creating an environment where you have a course and then have the community talk about. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm glad you answered that before even asking that, because I do believe as well that's the route for info products, and I call them now access products, because information is free nowadays for everything. But what you're paying for is the access to, in this case, the owner of the group, the guru, you can call them, whoever it may be.
Yeah.
And everybody else in the place that is similar minded, like you said, where, you know, two guys in the community are in the same town and they go hit a lift together. That is how you build a true community and build true long lasting relationships through you, but also now two guys are now boys.
Correct.
So what is the future goals of your community Anime Shreds?
That's great, man. The future goals are to wake as many people up as possible, regardless of if they join the paid group or the free group. Like, the idea is just to create awareness. Like, that's just my goal. In terms of where we're doing it, I'm gonna start doing tons of like pop-up events, but like pop-up events, we're actually doing like protocols, like healing modalities, we'll do trainings. It'll be very cool. So my idea is to like engage with the community and create foster environments for the community, like doing pop-up events exclusively for people who are Anime Shreds. Like, why not? I'm totally down. And yeah, just creating an environment for people, adding value, and then also realizing that the community is not about you. Maybe you created it, maybe you hosted it, maybe you facilitated or gave the idea, but it's also lifting people up in the community. They can act as role models or people like, bro, I can't, and the beautiful thing about fitness is different people do different things. So one guy's really good with this, one person's really good with that. So you're almost giving them a platform or an audience for them to be able to convey their message. Because if they convey their message on social media, it'd be nerfed 99% and only you'd get 100 likes. That's where there's thousands of people that listen to what they have to say. So I think it's honestly epic in many ways, and people should definitely start like looking at, what am I good at? What can I help people with? How can I build a community? Because it's not even about selling a product. It's literally about building a community, because you don't know if this person knows that person. And that's what I was literally telling you today. It's like, it's the things of life. Like, you look down on somebody because he makes less money than you, but you don't know in 4 years, 5 years, like that person has a level up at, like, you never know, bro. So treat everybody the same, everybody with respect, and realize that at the end of the day, when we hit the ground, you're not taking $1 with you.
Very, very good mindset.
Yeah. Fiat stays in the matrix, guys. Fiat stays in the matrix.
Going back to what you said regarding meetups and stuff like that, I believe that's something very good that your brother has done for the Capital Club events.
Yeah.
It just keeps that culture on fire.
What's culture on fire is network. Like, I met Victor, CEO of Anime Shreds, in the mastermind in Tulum, like the first Capital Club event, and then we just chopped it up and hit it from there, which is super cool. I met you, and we did the podcast there in Spain. So it's kind of cool because you get access to like cool people, and I've made a lot of relationships from that. And then I've met other people that we just didn't click and nothing happened, and it's fine.
And for anybody who doesn't know who Victor is, he was the #1 affiliate for Andrew Tate's The Real World at the time.
Yeah.
On TikTok, before there was a lot of shadow banning and things like this. And then he and Nate came together to work through and build.
Not really, bro.
No?
It was kind of like, no, bro. Like, Victor,
How did it work out?
Yeah, so Victor's a digital online ninja. Like, the guy's very smart, great with SOPs, great with structure. And he's a person that, like, I've been a friend with for a while. Like, he's known about Anime Shreds for 3 years. Like,
really?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
I told him, like, hey, this is my vision. I'm gonna do the scrolls. Like, I've known him for a while. He's a homie. So I'm kind of like, yo, I kind of proposed it to him, and he was down. So at the end of the day, I think you really have to foster relationships with people that say that they're gonna do something and they do it. But it's also people that you can trust, right? People that, because the truth is, the more and more you're in the game, the more and more you realize that there's just a lot of lies, a lot of hostility, and a lot of backstabbing. So you just have to, like, yeah, I feel like ideally find people that you resonate with, click with, and that like the vision and want to join. Because he's done Sun Cycle training with me for months, bro. We would train out together. He got super shredded. Like, yeah, dude, like, and then, yeah, when I presented the opportunity, he jumped on board, and there's a lot of cool things in the pipeline. But nah, the guy's very savvy, so that's more or less how it occurred. But he's known it for like years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that myself. Okay.
Well, because I didn't talk about anime. Like, I literally, yeah.
It's more low key for a little while. Now, I want to tap into this too regarding Anime Shreds here too, is your own brand as Mr. Belmar, right? And tapping into how honestly, I believe is very, very smart and very powerful how you separated yourself from all the other fitness influencers. And I believe how you did that, in my mind, what the big separation was by tying and integrating a common interest of many young guys, which is anime.
Okay.
So how important has anime been in your life, and why did you decide to make that leap and say, hey, I'm going to tie my face and my brand to anime as an overall interest?
So it's understanding what anime is, bro.
Go into that.
Anime is art. Anime is literally storytelling. Like, people don't understand. All it is a medium by which you convey information. How that information is conveyed and distilled is categorized as the label anime. Then you have TV shows. Then you have reality shows. Then you have movies. Then you have, it's all packaging of information that's visually stimulating you and giving you a story. So when you understand it for what it is, you realize it's not a cartoon. And I basically distilled the difference. Cartoon, if you look at the parental figure, they tend to be dumb.
Why is that? Come on, Nate.
Why do you think?
Because they want the parent, and then especially the male figure, to look brain dead. So
there you go.
We're pushing the agenda.
It's pretty obvious. Anybody who sees it from a pragmatic lens view, a kid at a younger level, right, in terms of age, when they look at it and they see all this dumb things at a subconscious level, maybe their dad mimics it at 10% and they associate it with that. Now, if you look at a dad in an anime show, like badass, heroic, struggling through life, you look at your dad and you're like, dang, dude, like he's going through stuff. Like, you basically mold perspective of reality. And for
perception is reality.
Perception is reality. And truth is truth, and people don't know how to tap into truth, and they think that their perspective is truth, when all it is just a perspective. But anime has been pivotal. And anime has been pivotal due to the reason of when I came across it. So what got me into anime was definitely Naruto show. It was just a hard time in life, dude. A hard time in life. You see a medium by which there's certain heroic characters, certain heroic archetypes, certain values, certain things that you don't learn anywhere else. Like literally anywhere else. Like you won't learn it watching the Kardashians. You won't learn watching The Voice, right? There's certain things that are intrinsically instilled in stories, whether it's a lesson, whether it's the emotion that you get from watching it. But it definitely played a huge pivotal role, and I've definitely watched anime ever since. Maybe not as much now as I used to, but I definitely still watch anime. Now, you ask me, is anime moving in a negative direction? 100%. I feel like anime is becoming worse, progressively worse. I feel like animes back in the day were way better. Like original Naruto, original Akira, Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, even some of the newer things. Now it feels like people are just jumping on the medium and trying to propagate their information. Like the fact that you have McDonald's doing an anime show, like I'm not watching that. Like what? Like, dude, spending your money on a better budget. That's just my opinion. Eat a bigumaku. Bigumaku. Nah, dude, it's propaganda.
I wasn't even gonna bring this up, but you kind of opened a can of worms with that. We can jump into the whole thing about the push for certain beliefs, certain like. Bro, it's the whole Olympic shit is so brain dead. It's like mocking the Last Supper, mocking Christ's Last Supper with his disciples, and they add a bunch of trannies.
Well, it's basically, it gets to a point where it's not even hidden, right? It's almost like you're creating a circus and a show for there to be conflict. So it's a paradigm within a paradigm. They know that you know, and they know that it bothers you. They're still going to do it because then they know that there's other people that don't know, and then people are going to get an argument. It's a beautiful concoction of supply and demand in terms of people being emotionally attached to biases and then fighting each other for it when the jar is shaken. Red ants, black ants kill each other. Same thing. Now, is it lame? 100%. Back 100 years ago, 200 years, when you saw the Olympics, you're like, okay, this is cool. Do I still think it's a little bit bodied? Yeah, in my opinion. I have my reasons. Bread and circus. That being said, I literally watched like 30 seconds of it. I'm like, this is so boring. I'm gonna go watch like a blank wall, be in my own mind and be more stimulated by what I'm watching. But yeah, it's dumb, bro. It's just dumb propaganda that some people watch, some people don't. I don't watch it.
What do you believe? Because I have my own opinions on this. I want to hear your opinions on this. What do you believe their end-all, be-all goal is with shoving this information and propaganda in front of our faces day after day?
Noise.
This distraction.
Noise, bro. It's all noise. Amplified noise through hyperconnectivity and social media.
For what goal? Or what do you, why would they distract us?
The very obvious answer, it has definitely been propagated with millions of views over social media as to intentions in terms of where the world is headed. Like, unless you're living under a rock, you kind of understand the gist of the situation in terms of like why certain things are being propagated. And it all has to do with like one united, call it civilization.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
I mean, you can literally go down different rabbit holes in terms of theses of what the goal is, but like, what's the purpose of that, right? It's kind of like if it's out of your control, right? Like, why are you sweating it? And that's the beauty, of understanding and being comfortable with things being comfortable with the uncomfortable, and things that you can't control, and the things you can control, you can't control. Do you think when I was there by the pool, like trying to get shredded or whatever, I was like, yeah, bro, what's going on? No, I was like, I need to do me, bro. Like, laser focus. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I think like that's the biggest take is like how much energy are you expediting thinking about something? Perfect. Can you change it? No. Why are you spending so much time? Spend maybe 50% less.
I will 100% agree with that. But
I think it's good to bring awareness about it because it's definitely a mockery and it's dumb. And the people that think it's cool, you're kind of like, bro, reality check.
Yeah. I mean, like even my friends back home in Scottsdale, we all have like similar foundational beliefs and stuff. And it's just like, we don't spend our days scrolling on Twitter, right? It's just one of those things where it's like extremely out there and it's like trending where it's like you can't scroll without seeing it.
Correct.
And then of course it sparks an emotional reaction because you're like, I can't believe this is actually happening.
I mean, bro, the fact that a guy had a testicle hanging next to a kid.
I saw that.
It's like, what are we doing here? We're playing tetherball? Like, are playing volleyball?
Bro.
And then they're hiding it. They're like, okay, this was a little bit way too perverted. People didn't like this. Let's hide it. Nah, bro, like go flex your testicle with your gay friend, bro.
Yeah, they're testing the water.
Not a little kid, dude. Like, come on.
They're trying to get to there.
It's always trying, bro. It's always trying.
It's
always trying, bro. It's always trying.
Now, before we started filming, this is completely pivoting.
Okay.
I don't want to go too down the cancelization rabbit hole and shit. We want to bring awareness to it, obviously, because it's kind of fucked up, obviously. And if you're this far into the podcast, you probably have similar beliefs. But super random. I have some nice drinks here. Do you ever drink alcohol?
I do drink red wine. I'll do Cabernet. I feel like for the shreds, it's been absolutely incredible in terms of the polyphenol content. I feel like it's absolutely amazing.
Polyphenol
content in red wine. Now, red sugary wine is completely different than dry wine. It's just people don't, it's like chocolate. People like all the sweet sugary stuff, but you give them a dark cacao bar and they're like, same thing. Now, it's what do you do with it, right? So with a cacao bar, you dip it in honey, maple syrup, add some coconut flakes. With what I like to do with the red wine.
Sounds bomb.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'll put it in the fridge, I'll chill it, and then I'll put a hydrogen tablet. And it turns the like astringent, hard flavor that you get, the aftertaste, into like a sweet, very mellow, juicy flavor. Like almost like juice and nectar. And I don't drink it all the time, but sometimes I'll be in a fasted state and I'll do cacao bar with wine. Alcohol, I wouldn't say is the most beneficial because we all know ethanol is not ideal for the liver, especially over long periods of time. So I'll enjoy that here and there in moderation, but I'm not like alcohol is a thing. I actually feel really dumb on it. Like I understand why people would drink it and feel like mellow and buzz, but my tolerance is very low. So I'll take, if you give me a couple of shots, I'm out, dude. Like it's just not, I'm not used to it. I'm not Russian.
You'll start tweaking out.
Yeah.
Doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Now, as we're getting closer towards the end here, I think this has been a really good podcast so far. I want to ask you a few more things here.
Yeah.
So let's jump into more esoteric things, right?
Okay.
We talked about a few things earlier off camera, and I want to bring them up to everybody to listen today in terms of how the body is, how we function, and how do you think we got to where we are in 2024 as human beings?
That's a great question. First of all, what does the common crowd think? Most of them are botted. Perfect. We've already addressed that with fitness. Perhaps it's the same way in this vertical of life, right? If you really start studying the body, if you really start studying its true nature in terms of not just being one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional, you start realizing the harmonization between like your teeth and your health, and you start really understanding how the body works, the more you realize that there is an intentional design behind it. Like, the more I study, the more I realize I'm like, okay, wow, the human body is fascinating. Like, there has to be like an intentional designer behind it because of how inexplicably hard it would be if one thing faltered, how everything would falter. And yeah, you just start looking at it, I'm just like, it boggles my mind, dude. Like, the more I study and the more you start studying genetics, epigenetics, you start understanding that there's a plethora of realms, spiritual realm, there's more that meets the eye. You looking at the body for something else, not like just material. The issue is most people would never tap into that because they don't even sit. Everybody's like, what do? Wake up in the morning, go study, go drink Mountain Dew, play Call of Duty with the boys. Then maybe if they're good, they'll go do their gym bro session at the gym. And they live in this very small matrix or system of lifestyle that doesn't give them the opportunity or the window to experience other realities that are occurring within even the same country, right?
Yeah.
But it's very hard if you're living in that circle. So that's why I tell people, like, dude, if you don't feel productive, you're in the same thing, like, break out, do something. I went from Argentina to Korea, from Korea back to Argentina to the States with a couple $100s in the pocket. Like, dude, live an adventure, go for it. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
intrinsically, yes, you look at the human design, and anybody who has half a brain cell can look up on YouTube why the Big Bang Theory is mathematically impossible. Just start there. Go down that rabbit hole and you just realize, okay, there's intentional design. And when you understand intentional design and you're grateful for it, it's a lot easier to make something with that raw material that you're given. Now, truth be told is, people have been warned, people know that when you become older, they are gonna incur what I call, or what is called the law of entropy, degradation, right? Everything, and the older you get, the more you're gonna feel it. So do as much as you possibly can with the power of youth to optimize your body, so by the time you're older, you're at least enjoying life a little bit better, or in a better experience as to what it could be, because you have the age, so make sure that you take advantage.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, tapping into this a layer deeper, do you believe there's a higher power?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, walk us through that.
You don't need I can't walk you through it. You have to walk yourself and discover it and look for it. I believe there's a higher power in many ways in my own life. Like, I can, off camera, I can tell you multiple stories, bro, of people call it supernatural, but it's not really supernatural. Like, supernatural those are not words that justify what occurred. What occurred was maybe a paranormal activity or something that was out of the norm that kind of maybe shattered your lenses or gave you perspective as to potentially there being more to the world than meets the eye. Mm-hmm. And if you understand that, and then you realize the intricacies of the world and how everything is so hinged and intertwined and interconnected, and how everything is harmonious and balanced, bro, just go to the Grand Canyon, go somewhere and look there and be like, okay, like, how is this made, bro? Like, I generally believe there is a higher power. Mm-hmm. Not believing in one is A, you're either trying to cope with reality, B, you're delusional, or you've been fed like just a bunch of propaganda, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I do believe we are going to move from the ironies of life, the pendulum swing. Mm-hmm. We are going to move from a generation of people that are not atheists into a different kind of generation. I'm not going to say what now, but we're going to move from atheism real quick in the next couple of years. Mark my words.
That's the way it goes typically. So, that being said, Nate, it's been a pleasure as always.
As always.
Second time, right?
Second time. It's been good. Miami edition.
Of course. One of the last words here. Do you have any last words of advice for somebody watching this, wherever they're at in their journey? General words.
Yeah. General words is listen to what people have to say. Take it with a grain of salt. Take what is good. Take what is useful. What is not useful, do not use it. And then take action. Don't just keep listening. Mm-hmm. Take action. Like, go do some push-ups. Go do some stuff. Like, people also become the whole, I'm going to keep listening and motivate. Like, I can't find, no, it becomes a time where motivation is no longer there and discipline is what's going to carry you.
Very true. Very true. And that ties right into my outro. Don't be motivated. Stay disciplined. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, good stuff.
Very good.
Fire podcast, guys.